What's up, guys? Intellitech Studios here, and today we have another episode of Vacuum Saved. This particular episode is a little bit sort of half special because we're going to be celebrating, well, I just forgot the actual number, but however many years it's been since we last did this. 5 years, I think? No, that can't be right. Has it been that long? Either way, my first ever Vacuum Save video was released August 8th, 2018, I want to say. Probably should have checked beforehand. But either way, this is recently surpassing an anniversary of the series, so we'll celebrate with another Vacuum Saved episode. Although there will be another one coming later, and I promise it won't take as long this time. Or at least I promise to hopefully get the second part of this out sooner, because this is the anniversary edition. The next one will be the NOS edition, and those of you who have been watching the recent videos, you know exactly what that means. So well, it'll either be NOS edition or collector edition. I'm not sure what I'm going to call it yet, because it'll feature some of both, but that is that. This is Vacuum Saved, and I figured I would focus on just a handful of machines that I've got recently, and also a honorable mention that I forgot to show in a previous Vacuum Save that you see in the center. So I believe I haven't featured any of these before in a Vacuum Saved, and if there is a machine that's in my collection that you haven't seen in a previous Vacuum Saved, be sure to recommend it in the comments if you'd like to see it, because I want to retroactively make sure the Vacuum Save shows off every single machine that I have, at least the ones that are salvageable. So that is that. So starting off with the most recent acquisition, the Hoover Empower. The second to most recent acquisition, the Bissell Revolution Pet. We've got the Bissell Power Force model 3525. We've got a Hoover Tempo and a Dyson DC25 Blueprint. Now, the Bissell and the Dyson, I actually found, or not found, but I actually got them from other collectors, and then the other three were purchased at a thrift store. In fact, all of these were at a Goodwill. So, in fact, I think two of these still have the stickers on them. So this one doesn't have the sticker on it anymore, but this Liftoff I paid $14.99 for, and this Empower I paid $9.99 for. In fact, I'm pretty sure this one might have been on sale. I think the tag was on sale that day, so it might have actually been cheaper. It might have been closer to like $7.50 or something like that, but I could be wrong, because I know there was some vacuum I bought where it was half price, but I don't remember if it was any of these. It might have been actually, I think it was the Tempo. I think the Tempo was 10. I think I got it for like 5 or 6, or maybe it was 15. I got it for 7. I can't remember. But point is that all these machines were fairly affordable. The Bissell was only $20, even though I acquired it from a collector, so after shipping it was about $40. Then the Dyson I got quite a long time ago in a trade for, I think, a PowerTrack Revolution. I don't believe I featured this one before. If I did, I apologize. But that is pretty interesting. So we'll actually start off with one of the Bissells, since those tend to be the most popular. And the Liftoff Revolution Pet seems like an obvious one, as I've never had one of these on the channel, whereas that's pretty similar to one I've had before. So, Liftoff Revolution Pet. I got this. It was really, really dirty. I've already done a couple videos on it standalone. But this particular one, and I already did clean this one up a little bit, so this particular one has had a full refurb. I use that term very loosely, but I did strip it all the way down to the motor. I even disassembled the motor casing and everything, because the whole motor was just full of dust, and it was full of actual dirt, like leaves, coarse debris, soil. Like, it was bad. And I tried to rinse just the outside of the machine without disassembling it and being super lazy about it, and it ended up getting a lot of water in the motor. But I pulled it apart completely. I just straight up washed out the motor and let it dry for a while, and last I turned it on, it runs okay, so didn't mess anything up, surprisingly. And from the last video, I did replace the headlight bulb and clean up the lens as well. So there is that. So I need to replace both the filters, but thankfully they're still okay. I bought a brand new set, but I don't know where they went. Looks like there's some dirt and stuff that got on the outside of the filter door. But even these filters manage to wash up surprisingly well, so that is fine in the meantime at least. So there's the pre-motor filter, and then we'll swivel the lever. It got a good amount of stuff, and of course all this inside's clean. As soon as I say that, there's like a little bit of a hair or something like that. But I've been debating on what machine to make my daily driver for a little bit now that I've, kind of gotten burned out on other machines. I'm debating on it being this, but we'll see what happens. So we've got that and the upper tank filter, because I know everyone wants to see the filters on these. Of course, I did use it once since then, which means the bottom of this is covered in dust like it always gets. And then the actual filter. But this Revolution system does a surprisingly good job, and I'll mention that in the full review too. Because the standard basic clean view, or the first gen bagless lift-off from before this, without the side pieces, this would have been caked with junk. And I actually have the Rubbermaid version of that, which I'll do a video on one of these days. But yeah, so of course it's a little dusty now from me using it a little bit, but it works pretty good. It's really scuffed up on the sides. It's clearly been kind of beaten up. This handle also is quite loose and jiggly, and it's missing the actual bracket for the turbo brush. But whenever I bought that Bissell Power Force, I forgot the dude's name, but Vacuum Info actually gave me a extension wand for this, which is really nice of him. So because he gave me that, and I already had a crevice tool and a combo tool, other than the turbo brush, it's complete now. And I did replace this filter since I had a handful of these. So this I already saved, technically vacuum saved doesn't have to mean vacuums that have only begun to be saved. It could also show vacuums that have been successfully saved, if that makes any sense. So I'm sure that's fine. So yeah, not really much else to say about it other than it's in good shape. It didn't really need any parts, surprisingly, at least not any that I can't get by without. Brush roll's still in decent shape. Belt is still good. Actually no, I did replace the belt because the belt was really loose, so I did replace the belt. I happen to have a belt on hand. Brush roll makes a bit of a noise, but it's not too bad. I forgot exactly what belt. I think I had one of the proper belts for this, or maybe I bought one. I can't remember, but I did put a belt in it because it's not the standard Bissell belt. It's shorter. So yeah, that is pretty much that. We'll go ahead and plug this in and give this a whirl and hope that it still works okay. All right. So it's got two switches right here, power switch and a brush roll switch. Of course the brush roll switch is on, so we'll go ahead and give this a run. that is the only problem it still has, is for some reason it releases just fine, but the latch snaps when it's like halfway up instead of all the way up. Like, it snaps when there's still a distance to go, but it still locks in once I push it all the way. It's a bit bizarre, but it does work. And also suction on this side is really poor, even though it's almost to the center. So that's a bit strange. Probably because of the belt. But yeah, so that's a decent save. Even though I never really bothered to like want one of these, it's one of those machines where since I found it locally and it was a reasonable price, I figured I'd bite the bullet and pick it up. I'm still holding out for a bagged version of this, the one that's like a decade older than this, the Liftoff and Plus models, and one that's not yellowed. But we'll see how that goes. But out of all the Liftoff bagless versions, so between the bagless, the Revolution, this one, and the multicyclonic, this one's definitely the best and my favorite. Because the multicyclonic, as they call it, and the standard bagless don't filter as well as this one, because the Revolution sides make a pretty huge difference. But yeah, so on to the next one. Also, I'll mention this because I know someone might ask. I don't have any plans to sell this at the moment, but I'm not super against it. I'm very kind of lukewarm on this machine. I do like it, but I'm not sure if I'll keep it. Right now, I plan on keeping it, but if I list it for sale, I suppose if I get a good enough offer, I might let it go. But right now, I have no plans on selling this one. So, but there are a bunch of other vacuums I am selling. Next up, we've got one of the most popular Hoovers in recent memory, the Hoover Tempo Wide Path. Now, this isn't the newer T-Series version, which I have reviewed in the past, and I do really like that machine and still recommend it. But this is the older, cheaper model, and this is one of the later ones after they dropped some of the features, but still is a pretty decent, solid machine. This one I also picked up from Goodwill. I forgot exactly the price. I believe it was $10, because most stuff at my local Goodwill is around $10 or $15. So this machine just was dirty, needed a clean. The only attachment it had with it was it had a crevice tool and a dusting brush, which I've since misplaced those. So the dusting brush I know where they are. The dusting brush I put in a drawer somewhere, because it's the crappy new one from the T-Series. And the crevice tool, I think I was using on my Mighty Mites earlier, since they're both 1.25 inch. But I'm not sure what I'm going to do with this machine. For a while, I was going to sell my blue transparent wide path wind tunnel that I've had for a number of years. But I was considering selling it because the screws are all rusted out. But it otherwise is in great shape. But I can't find a good source for a replacement screw set for one of these machines. So since I haven't been able to, if anyone has any leads, that'd be even better. But since I can't, I've been thinking about just parting out this machine and just using it to fix my other wind tunnel. Because I have two wind tunnels right now. I have a blue transparent one, and then I have a black one. It's one of the old deluxe models with the actual LED indicator for the bag door. So, or for the bag check indicator. So I obviously like both those machines better than this, so I'm thinking about parting this out to fix at least one, if not both of those machines, probably just one, probably just the blue one, and then selling the other two, whichever ends up being left over. But let me know what you guys think, because I do like this machine, but it just reminds me how much I like the full-size wind tunnels and how much this is just kind of crappy in comparison, because the motor, it's a much louder, much whinier motor. The whole hose assembly is just useless. The cord is useless in terms of length, but the fundamentals are still strong. It still cleans really well. It still filters really well. It still fits my Clean Fairy Style 7 HEPA bags. So I've got that. There's some dust in there. But so I like all that on it, but because of the motor being so shrill, I don't like using it. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it, but I'm still happy I picked it up. I still plan on doing a full review on it, since there are obviously a lot of these out there. But it's probably not going to be as positive as you would hope, considering this machine. But that being said, I still like it. It's still a welcome addition to the collection, and I did strip this all the way apart Not like the back door, but I did take apart the whole base assembly and clean it up. I did wash out a lot of the pieces, so it's in good shape now. Put a new belt on it because of course it needed a new belt and all that. It's got this beast, these absolutely beastly CWP brush rollers. This is a fantastic brush roll. Looks like there's something in there. So this is a monster brush roll, and it's definitely really nice. It still has some noise to it, if you hear that. So it's not the smoothest in the world, but it does still turn, well, it doesn't sound the smoothest, but it does run the smooth. It's very smooth, if that makes any sense. So I still don't have much resistance at turning it other than what's on the belt. So all that. And I suppose I forgot to show the rating sticker for that Bissell, so I might have to do that. Of course, the glare is kind of a problem. But yeah, U5140-900, and this one's from 2012, so it's a decade old. But I mean, hey, nothing's broken on it. It's held up. It's definitely a solid machine. But yeah, we'll give this a super quick run. Again, great machine, just too loud for my liking. Because to me, if I'm going to use a loud machine that has a Hoover logo on it, might as well just use an Elite at that point. So there's a team paw. And there's the Bissell sticker that I forgot to show earlier. Next, we've got the Omi Dyson in this particular vacuum save. But don't worry, subscribe, like this video, and guess what? The sooner, or let me put it this way, whenever we reach, let's say, 100 likes on this video, or I should say, the sooner we reach 100 likes on this video, the sooner I'll do the next vacuum saved. How about that? So this is the DC-25 blueprint. Got this from Zach Sharp, also known as Poke Dinosaur Man, I think, on YouTube. I forgot how to pronounce it, but I've done a couple trades of them in the past. I traded my Clear Track for the DC-07 Carbit, and I traded my Power Track Revolution for this particular machine, both of which, especially the first trade, I really liked, even though both the machines were in really bad condition when I got them, and I traded machines that were fully good. The machines that I got were also generally considered to be more rare and possibly, as a result, more valuable. So to me, it's still a relatively even amount. But as you can see, this machine has yellowed pretty badly. It was pretty yellowed when I got it, and then of course it's yellowed even more. This, along with the Riccar Superlight, for some reason, have yellowed really badly since I've had them, even though I have blackout curtains in the rooms they're stored in. I keep it really cool in those rooms. It's not super hot, so I don't understand what the deal is, but I guess it's just my bad. So that being said, this machine does have some other faults with it. Mainly the wand and the changeover valve is kind of messed up. The power head is completely shot. The brush roll just in the end cap and the main actual motor assembly that it clips into are all stripped out. If it was just the end cap and brush roll, I could just rebuild it, but it's just completely bad. And unfortunately, because of a epidemic of people putting blueprint parts on non-blueprint 24s and 25s for some reason, and that means that now there's no parts of those available. So Dyson made all these blueprint specific parts for these blueprint machines, but now I can't find one because every single technician decided to put them on the wrong vacuum for some reason. Because nowadays you can still get the normal cleaner heads for both, but not the blueprint ones. So if I wanted to match, I guess I'm just SOL. Alright, so we'll go ahead and give this a run. This also, I'm going to sell this because, frankly, it's in really bad condition. Like, it's not that it's in bad condition, but with that cleaner head, you know, I don't really see the point in rebuilding this with stock parts, because then it's like half blueprint, half not. I don't know. I don't know. I'm probably not going to list it right now, but if someone really wants it, then I'll sell it to them for a decent price, probably. Because I do really like the blueprint, but I don't know. I might just have to hold out until a better one comes along. But I won't sell this for I mean, it does work just fine. It's fully functional and everything, but I'm not going to sell it for an arm and a leg. You know, because a lot of Dysons will sell for hundreds of dollars. I don't think I'm going to sell it for that much. But it does work, though, at least. It just kind of bothers me a little bit. And I have the red one, so I have a fully good 25. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But in the meantime, we'll give this a bit of a run. Still got some stuff. And I don't know if I registered this on my account yet. But yeah, 2009. But yeah, it does work. So yeah, DC-25 blueprint. Next, we've got a vacuum I featured recently, the Hoover Empower, with the hush mode. Now, I already showed this, so not really much to conclude other than, well, it's the same as it was when I got it. It's got the power boost, it's got the hush and the on mode. Whatever this does, not sure what that does. Looks like it boosts something. I don't even know what it was on before. Either way, well, this is it works just fine. It just needs possibly some new filters, definitely a new belt, possibly a brush roll, but the brush roll looks okay to me. Probably just needs to be rebuilt and cleaned up. So yeah, it has an extension wand, which doesn't look like the right one because I'm not sure. It looks like it goes on that way, but I don't think the crevice tool would go on like that, and the upholstery tool is obviously this is supposed to be over here. It'll even go on. Yeah. So that's supposed to be there. So I'm not sure, because obviously the brush goes there, so I'm not sure how the crevice tool would have fit on this. because normally the crevice tool would fit inside here. That doesn't look right because it doesn't fit that way. So I don't know how this was supposed to go on, but that seems like it makes the most sense. So yeah, it's not going to clean very well since it needs a belt and everything, but we'll still give it a run. Immediately stops. And the brush will make some noise, as you can hear, but it's definitely functional. It just needs a little bit of a cleanup and it'll be fine. So that Empower is pretty decent. So went ahead and grabbed that. So that is fine. Of course, that stupid sticker's upside down. But this one is... If I flip this around, because it's all dirty. Probably run this to the dishwasher. So this one is... I'm trying to see if there's any date code on this one. I'm not seeing one. Serial number maybe 1106. So is that November 2006 possibly? That would make sense to me at least. So 2006. So that would mean this is 18 years old almost. So 17 right now probably. Something like that. And of course it's got the standard cartridge filter these Hoovers always have, which thankfully I've got. Oh, okay, I just flung it out of the box, but I've got one right there. It's brand new. And this machine's got a little bit of that old school wind tunnel funk these filters like to get. So this Febreze one should fix that up quite nicely. So on this model, the filter's on this side, whereas on the twin chamber, they're usually on this side. So that's a bit different, but there's an Empower that'll be rebuilt pretty soon. And again, like the 25, I might keep this, but we'll see how it goes. I'm not sure. We'll see. If someone really wants this, then I might sell it, but otherwise I'll probably just hold on to it for now. But again, we'll see. I'll get it fixed up, do a proper review on it, and we'll see what my thoughts are after it's fully good to go. And finally, here's this Bissell Power Force 3525 that I got off of Vacuum Info. This particular machine I've been wanting to grab for quite a while because it's basically the updated version of the 3522, and it's kind of a hard to find version. It has the bag check indicator and the headlight, but it has the newer style headlight, which is not very common on this unit, on the bagged unit. But it's after they changed the 12 amp logo and the main logo. But despite that, and those logos being what you would later see on the Chinese units, this one actually still is made in Korea by Samsung, so that's kind of cool. But it's still the same build quality and the same everything from the 3522 series that came before it. So just a little bit better. I still prefer the 3522 because the motors in these are exactly the same, so there's not really any practical difference. But I do think 3522 is better because I like having the screws to hold on the headlight instead of the little tab. But at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. Also, the cord on this I think is slightly shorter. I could be wrong though. But yeah, so very nice. Has a bit of stank to it from the previous owner, from before Vacuum Info had it, but it still works just fine. And a little bit of scent beads don't really kind of help that a little bit. In fact, I'll put some down before I run this, because the bag that I put in here, the Clean Fairy bag, is starting to get a little bit funky, which normally doesn't happen for a while. I'll suck up some of these, and that should take care of that. yeah, it's so this thing definitely works perfectly fine. It has a nice good brush roll in it. The only real complaints I have with it, which they're not Vacuum Info's fault, and again, for the price, I'm not complaining, for the record, but I noticed this particular one has a weird issue with the handle. The screw is in all the way, but the handle is still a bit loose. It moves a little bit, almost as if the screw isn't in all the way. It's really hard to visualize on camera, but if you felt it, you'd feel it. And I also feel like either the wheels or the base plate is kind of dragging a little bit, but I'm not sure why that is. But with my 3522, I could play around with some parts and see what the actual culprit is. But either way, I'm not worried about it. But I believe this is the original handle. It's really hard to tell. Actually, wait a minute. This is a 3522 handle. I just realized that. Unless they just never updated that sticker, which I suppose is possible. But yeah, so that's a 3525. And that pretty much caps off this vacuum save. This one is one I've been wanting to get for a long time, so it's cool to finally cross that off on the list. Because as much as I use all these Sebos and Milas and Dysons, and as much as I still really like them, the simplicity of these, no pun intended, given that I'm not really a fan of most simplicities, but the simplicity of these is part of the reason why I really like them, just because they're just basic. There's nothing to really go wrong on these, and the few issues that these are prone to having, like with the height adjustment wheels and the pedal releases, those are actually fixed on the commercial variants, and that's why I still really like the Big Green commercial, and to a lesser extent the Sanitaire version of this machine, because they just do rude, because they just work really well. They clean well, they're super lightweight, they're very versatile, and just overall, there's really not much for me to complain about, because at the end of the day, I like using something that's just not complicated, that's just no frills and just works. And considering how cheap the bags are, how cheap expendables are for these machines, the only real complaint that I can still think of about these is the fact that the brush roller bearings tend to freeze up and cause the whole brush roll to melt. But you slap a CWP brush roll in there and it solves that problem anyways if it really bothers you. So, I don't know. I still really like these. I still recommend these all the time to people. And they're still excellent vacuums for the price. But, hey, what are you going to do? But that is that. That's the 3525. The blueprint, the tempo, the liftoff, and the empower. So, anyways, this is Intellitech Studios signing out with another episode of Vacuum Saved, celebrating the 5-year anniversary. I really should have checked that before I started this video. But either way, the anniversary of Vacuum Saved, the whole series. Hi, Rubes. Ruby, haven't seen you in a while on the camera. Hi, boobs. Hi, boobs. Hi, boobs. Hi, boobs. Hi, boobs. Hi, Ruby Booby. Ruby Booby. Ruby Booby. Hi, Rika. Rika. I know. I love you too. Rocco. I got the whole family here. This really is an anniversary. But of course, in traditional fashion, Ruby's going to try to steal all of the spotlight, because she is a brat. Isn't that right? Aren't you a brat? Aren't you a brat? Aren't you a brat? Hi, Rika. 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 Rika, do you love me? Ow, man. I'll take that as a yes, but wow, you are very, very, very sharp right now. Those claws. Rika, do you love me? Can you say I love you? You were very vocal earlier, but now you won't talk to me. Okay, get off me. Alright, so there is the sausage. There, right here, is the cheeseburger. And right there is the potato. Hi, potato. Rocco. Rocco. He does not have the brain cell right now. I don't think he's ever gotten it. She doesn't have it. Look, there's no thoughts inside that head. Look at that head. There's no thoughts in there. No thoughts in there. No thoughts in there. Boop. Nope, that wasn't a boop. Boop. Let me. Oh, I just booped your eye. Boop. Where's that snoot? Boop. Boop. Let me boop that snoot. Boop 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 boop. Good girl. Good girl. Good boy. Rika, you want to say bye to the camera? You want to say bye?